The polar adventurers of the late 19th and early 20th century were among history's most intrepid explorers, braving freezing temperatures and starvation in their quest for discovery. Among them, Ernest Shackleton stands as a giant, thanks to his legendary Trans-Antarctic crossing attempt. Shackleton came as close as 463 nautical miles from the South Pole on Robert Scott's 1901 expedition, before being forced to turn back due to starvation, scurvy, and snow blindness. In 1907, Shackleton led his own expedition and came within 97 nautical miles of the pole. The party also became the first to climb Mount Erebus, cross the Trans-Atlantic mountain range, and reach the South Polar Plateau. In 1914, Shackleton embarked on the expedition that was to enshrine him in history books, although not for the reasons he had originally expected. The explorer planned to cross the South Polar continent from sea to sea and received royal support for his plans.
This is a very famous royal standard that was given to Shackleton as he was setting out on the Endurance, on the Imperial Transantarctic expedition. Queen Alexandra had followed his career as an explorer, and she came down to the West India docks in London to come on board the ship and to present this banner to Shackleton. And it followed him throughout that amazing expedition and came home safe and sound, as we can see.
But disaster struck when his ship Endurance was destroyed by pack ice, leaving him and his men stranded.
Shackleton, when he went south, when he left either New Zealand or South Georgia to go south to different parts of the Antarctic, he and his ship were really completely on their own, completely isolated, and thus, when the Endurance was crushed by the pack ice, they simply had to get out under their own steam.
The expedition was reduced to a struggle for survival, but the ordeal brought Shackleton's leadership qualities to the fore. He inspired confidence in his crew, even when the situation was at its most perilous.
Shackleton was what today one might call a people person. I think he understood people, and he tried to put people, for example, when tents had to be shared and different groups were in different tents, he tried to match people, a calm leader, somebody who would exude quiet, calm authority.
Shackleton decided to undertake the risky 800-mile voyage to South Georgia Island with a skeleton crew, leaving the rest behind on Elephant Island. For a fortnight, they battled icebergs and ocean swells, and finally undertook a perilous journey on foot across 17 miles of mountains and glaciers to reach a whaling settlement. But it took 3 attempts for Shackleton to rescue the men stranded on Elephant Island. The explorer returned to England a hero, but suffered from poor health due to a heart condition and heavy drinking. He died of a heart attack in 1922 in Antarctica while on an expedition to circumnavigate the continent. At his wife's request, Shackleton was buried on South Georgia Island in a gravesite overlooking the magnificent icy wilderness that meant so much to him.
He clearly enjoyed greatly the aesthetics, the beauty and the grandeur of the Antarctic, and I think that was one of the things that attracted him back time after time. A part of it was a challenge, but a part of it was the sheer magnitude of beauty of the southern continent.